authority. They perceive that he has authority, and in this case it is over the dark spirits that are misbehaving even in the synagogue. There are around some YouTubes of different cases of exorcism. They can no longer be put on YouTube, therefore anything that is there is from earlier ones before the prohibition came from the Vatican to record and put these up. And if one looks carefully, one notices a certain pattern. There are a few here and there taken from the Islamic bloc, but they are mostly from the Roman Catholic bloc and some from the Eastern Orthodox. The Eastern Orthodox priests and the Catholic priests have this in common, that visibly they have authority and power over the demons. The Imam has nothing of the sort, and one can see that from the absence of reactions of the demons. Having the Italian, I have access to what the interesting testimony of the likes of Gabriel Amort has to say on this before he died. And he is quite direct and quite unafraid. And he and other great exorcists in Italy have left testimonies which, if they were put in a book, would be also volumes of learning, as it were in reverse, what the devil hates and what he likes. And certain things come through very clearly. I'll come to that in a minute. What comes through immediately in the testimony of Father Gabriel Amort, who was Rome's chief exorcist for a long time, is that he's not in the least afraid. Indeed, every time he starts an exorcism, he makes this sign, showing who's in charge. And he comes out in this interview with one particular saying which shows how unafraid he is. Quando il demonio mi vede, gli cade le braghe. When the demon sees me, his braces fall down. Not in the least afraid of old Nick. But he does indicate that those who are not aware of him need to be afraid. And that's where I'm landing. He is very dangerous, especially when we are comfortably rocked to sleep. The devil, of course, uses other means. He is hugely present in our society on every possible level, not excluding ecclesiastical levels, and he is out there to do his business, which is in utter and pure hatred to destroy our souls forever. And he knows that to do that he must destroy, attack, render completely inefficacious the means of getting to heaven, the Catholic Church, which he knows to be the centre of it. Now, with regard to what's going on, because in an assembly like this you are pretty well aware of what's going on, we only see the tip of the iceberg. We only see, as it were, symptoms. But there's a whole underground, invisible battle going on, outworking itself visibly, of which we see only a part. But we need to be aware that we need to be fully awake to what he's doing and how. Do you know that right now it is very difficult to celebrate the sacred mysteries in a place where one can be sure that there will be no sacrilege and that the reverence given to the presence will be maintained? It's very difficult in most places to be actually allowed to do that. one is issued with directives which are always going in the direction of minimalizing that reverence. But then that's only the visible. The invisible is also there, and the priest sort of picks it up. The souls coming up are not prepared. They are not washed in the blood of Christ first, and for a communion to be not sacrilegious, grave sins must be washed first. Holy Communion does not take away mortal sins, it actually adds to them. So there is out there massively a dark, dark ecclesiastical world. Because if one has a situation where over a whole parish, a whole diocese, a whole country even, massively there is not a state of grace, then what's happening? We won't pick things up. We're no longer responding. It leads to a hardening of the heart. And therefore, the devil is yet again very free to act, because people are no longer reacting to what, if they are in a state of grace, they will react. E.g., they will no longer react against what they might be hearing on a transistor, often and indeed for long periods of time, which, if listened carefully to, are precisely the language of the same enemy, of the soul, of the church, of a nation, of culture. Take that into realms of entertainment, music, drama, literature, cinematography, videos, literature, pictures, publicity, and then one bit after another we have what? The norm of the dark side, and we do not react. Indeed, we collude by engaging with it. It is not indifferent to opt to put on live television and radio on certain stations or not. It is not indifferent to spend time freely with people who are blaspheming and using foul language, often in our ears. Each time it's a colluding with especially the demon of impurity. With regard to other issues, there is also something we need to be aware of. Certain factors contribute considerably to the hardening of the heart. Certain habits damage the soul almost irreparably. It is a personal choice to ingest substances which are mind-altering. They are anything from alcohol to heroin, passing by all the others in between. To also not be aware of the sacredness of the temple of the soul and of the body by making it not, as we have in the collect of this day, a home where you will dwell, but actually a place damaged with smoke and bad stuff, damaging also precisely the fabric of the temple itself, the body, not to care at all, either by not sufficient nutrition or by excessive nutrition, and also by addictions which damage profoundly the body and shorten life. It's all not to understand how sacred life is and the rights of our Maker. But then also this other one, and it's everywhere. To be people of noise is also to be fighting for the wrong side, to contribute on a daily basis and all day to the increase of bad peace, made precisely of too many words and bad words and unnecessary blocking out of sacred silence. It's all part of precisely what the enemy of the soul wants. Noise is the language of hell, and hell is full of noise. It's one of the torments of the damned. And if we're happy with noise, we're happy with the demons. who are pumping it at us, and few seem to realize what's going on. It's quite different to spend an hour before the tabernacle or before the monstrance, and to spend that same hour either with noisy people, foul-languaged people, or foul-mouthed television or YouTube. The choice is free. We don't have to do certain things. And if we can't change those habits, we're not in command. We've abdicated, we've handed over the control panel often to you know who. And we cannot serve two masters.